Boys, girls, and MBs, hello, hello, hello. Today we got a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on in the world. It's been a while since I started streaming, so welcome back if you're new here, or maybe you've been around for a while. This is a stream where I talk about internet news and drama. It usually lasts about an hour. We cover the news and the drama and the fun stuff and have a good time. And we do backflips behind me. So yeah, if you want to see me do a backflip, you should hang out. But we're going to do another kind of backflip. Today we're going to talk about a lot. You may or may not have seen. I think my mic is kind of hot. I'm going to turn it down a bit. You may or may not have seen the deadly helicopter crash into the Hudson River. If you didn't see us, we're going to talk about that a little bit. There's a couple random TikToks I want to talk about here. There's this one. And then there was a whole Coachella disaster, a whole bunch of crap that went down. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. It looks like a lot of people on TikTok were talking about it. So we'll yap about that for a little bit. And then after that, if we have time, we'll get into the, maybe we'll save this one for last. North Star Radio put out a new video about Ethan Klien suing Noah Samson. What up, Chris? How you doing? I'm doing. I've had better days. I'm doing okay. This is where we're at right now. Got the Ricolas ready. In fact, I even got a LaCroix. Don't know why I got this. But my throat still kind of hurts, but good enough to stream. Appreciate it. And then, okay, is this something I've avoided talking about on my stream quite a bit? Because it almost feels like I'm Captain Obvious. But I also am a little not scared, but I'm what's the best way to put it? Like, I'm aware of the consequences that come with talking about this subject. I've been bookmarking Asmongold clips for a while now, and not just because I'm like, oh, I disagree, but because I like go and watch other stuff of his just to make sure that, like, you know how people say watch stuff in context? I'm like, okay, I gotta watch him in context to make sure. So I've watched like 10-15 minutes at a time of his stream. A couple of my in real life friends watch him, so I didn't lean into watching him because I don't really like him. But I was like, I gotta at least get the context, right? If I see a clip, it's like, all right, whatever. But these clips do line up with how he acts. And they are not out of context. They are, in fact, his bizarre opinions. And you can see I've bookmarked quite a few Asmongold clips. I might even talk about the Extra Emily thing. But yeah, Asmongold has had some like wild opinions lately, and across the board. As I went through his content, it seemed like he's leaning right now. He's super into like Donald Trump, it seems, and his audience seems like they're about 14 years old. If I put a question mark into his chat of like, huh, you get immediately clapped. So it's unacceptable to disagree with Asmongold in his chat, is what I learned. Which is awesome, because everything he says, you have to respond to and say, yeah, based. But yeah, let's get into it. Or should I do a little update? Maybe I should do a little update. Okay, here, I'm gonna do a quick little update, then we'll get into everything. I'm gonna probably try to get back on track with streaming. I know I missed yesterday, but try to get back to 9 o'clock for the next few nights at least. Maybe not Friday. I think all the way till Thursday I'll stream. And then potentially we have Easter coming up on Sunday. So probably not the weekend, but following week I'll try to get back to streaming. I've been busy with work. I've been busy filming videos for my clients like left and right. It's been a hectic schedule. I've been also touching grass, hanging out with people, making new friends. obviously hanging around with too many people because I'm freaking sick. I thought I had COVID, tested negative this morning. It's like, phew, don't have to think about that. Also, here's something. Here's a little tidbit of something I wanted to share. Same situation with Andrew Tate and Rogan, where friends and family say it's out of context. They've since learned due to my diligence before I talk shit. Jeez. Yeah, I don't know why. I actually had someone in my life as well say something about Andrew. They were like, no, he's just a fitness influencer. He's all good. And I was like, are you sure? Which that just reminded me of something I wanted to talk about on my broadcast that I didn't bookmark. Blender, what's up? How are you? But anyway, so there's that. Also, I'm gonna put this little, before I get into everything, I'm gonna put this little tidbit of information. I'm gonna be 30 in August. August 2nd is my birthday. I'll be 30. I know it's weird. I'm not really a big gotta do something big for your 30th birthday kind of person. I'm more of like, let me just turn 30 and not think about it kind of person, which is weird because I'm a pretty social person, but I don't care. If one person says happy birthday to me on my 30th, I'll be like, woo, all right. But the reason I'm bringing that up is at the ripe old age of 29, something that I like, that kind of re-centered in my brain recently, that I think is important for a lot of people to know, is that if last term of college, fellow August birthday, let's go, August birthdays, let's go. Enjoy. I'm 33 and I want to go back to my 20s. I know, that's one thing I'm like kind of dreading. I don't deal with like getting older very well, and I don't deal with knowing that there's people that are in my life that are also aging with me. It doesn't sit well with me. But here's a little tidbit of advice. It can go to anybody. All right. And it seems like, well, it seemed like Chris, maybe you've got the hang of this, maybe potentially based on your previous comment. But the thing I learned is that, like, kind of over the span of being 29, that I kind of have been using a lot in my life lately, is that don't be afraid to like confront people. In other words, I don't care how close the person is to you. I don't care if you grew up with them and they're doing something that's bothering you or whatever it is. If someone says something that's like right in front of you and it's pissing you off and it's annoying and it's bad, and don't just like walk away from the situation or like shut yourself down. Go right to that person, straight to their face, and tell them exactly what pissed you off. Just look them right in the face and tell them this. And if you can't do that, text them that very thing. You have to tell these people. You cannot just like walk away from something and let it bother you, because it's going to keep eating away at you. The sooner you address it, the better. And honestly, more people will respect you. The sooner you do that and the better you get with it, more and more people are going to respect you. The more you don't do that, the more people are going to hate you and eventually not talk to you anymore, because they're like, oh, I don't like this person that can't confront their emotions and feelings or whatever, and then they're just going to despise you. Yeah, it's something that I see people that in my life do that, and they avoid confrontation, and then I'll get like messages about it, and I'll be like, just say it to the person's face. Walk up to them and say it. What's the worst thing that can happen? This is what I learned. The worst thing that can happen from it is that you hurt someone's feelings for like 10 seconds. Oh no, you hurt someone's feelings. Would you rather hurt someone's feelings for 10 seconds or be pissed off at yourself for like a whole year about this thing, or have this like weird thing hanging over you and you're around said person? If anything, that person's gonna be like, oh, thank God you told me, because I wouldn't have known otherwise, right? There's my advice. Let's get into the drama. Well, first subject here is not drama. It's actually kind of scary, and my elementary friend was claiming that the government is trying to make his kids trans, and I pointed out how red states are banning trans rights. The government is not for trans people. It's the worst argument of all time when people try to pull that one. The government's trying to make kids trans. It's the dumbest. It's like, whenever I hear someone say that, it just tells me that they didn't look anything up. They did no research. They just heard someone say that and then just repeat. It's a rinse and repeat talking point that requires, like, I could say that about anything. I could be like, oh, the government's trying to force everyone to eat chocolate. What? The government said it. It's like, it's the dumbest non-argument ever. It's so stupid. It takes like less than that of an acorn brain to think that. All right, should we get into it? This first thing is not drama. This first thing is very sad. It's the, I don't know if you guys saw this, but the deadly. Let's kill the music. Let's kill the music. Sorry, music. Boom. So the first thing here is the deadly helicopter crash on the Hudson River. Did you guys see this? Can we get a 1 in chat for yeah, 2 for no? Let's see. I was like out working. Okay, we got a 2. Okay, 2 2s. Okay, all right. So yeah, I was just out working one day, and one of my clients out of nowhere just goes, "Yeah, a helicopter crashed in the Hudson River." I was like, huh? Yeah, and I watched one video. Now I'm down a whole pipeline. We're gonna go down the pipeline together here. Kind of a scary situation. I'm already like on edge about flying currently. I know the news does kind of like spike a lot of the stories once a couple bad outings happen, and then you start hearing more and more when it's like these things do happen. It's just a matter of like we're getting more news articles about it. However, it does bring it to your attention more, and it makes you think twice about flying. And I have a lot of friends that are kind of on edge about flying. And some people say this is a good time to buy tickets because tickets are cheaper, which I actually remind myself to buy a ticket right now. Anyway, this is now helicopters. Went big on news. Still more proof that Doge fucks up my. Oh yeah. Here we go.
We are coming on the air tonight with breaking news. A deadly chopper crash in the Hudson River. It happened late today. A tourist helicopter carrying 5 people.
By the way, this wasn't today. This was like 3 days ago, I think it was.
And one pilot suddenly plummeted into the water below. We're going to play for you now the moment it dropped from the sky. And we are pausing here before the moment.
Dog. I cannot with this image. I cannot. Like, I'm too photographic of a person. When I saw this, the very second I saw this, I immediately put myself in like the people's shoes that were in it. I'm like, I cannot imagine, like, being even right side up in a normal helicopter scares the crap out of me. Look at the propeller, wasn't even spinning, it fell like a dead fish. Like, being even right side up in a helicopter scares me. I don't know what it is. I've been in a helicopter like twice in my life. And both those times I literally thought I was on the brink of death. And isn't that how Kobe Bryant died, through a helicopter? And then dude, like, watch this.
What happened next was a furious rescue effort on one of the busiest waterways in the world. The scene, reminiscent of the miracle on the Hudson 16 years ago, near the same exact location. But the results today, far from a miracle. All 6 on board killed, including 3 children. A warning tonight, some of the images you're about to see are disturbing. Our team is on the scene of the crash, and Sam Brock joins us now live. Sam, they tried so hard to rescue those passengers.
Yeah, Tom, that's right. According to authorities, divers were in the water within minutes of the calls coming in. Look over my shoulder here. You can still see the flashing lights. That's the scene across the Hudson River as we are learning more about the death of a family. 5 kids involved. Excuse me, 3 children involved. The terrifying final moments of the helicopter flight.
Dog, can you just imagine that? You're in a helicopter. The helicopter is now upside down, and you're like, oh, fuck, and you look and there's water. Like, what? There's no instant escape of that. Like, what? In my mind, I'm thinking, like, if I'm in that, are you just telling everyone you love them and then, boom, out? Like, that's freaking scary.
Captured on video as it fell out of the sky and plunged into New York City's Hudson River.
We have multiple boats still in the water.
Now, one thing that really... Okay, here's the thing that really, like, separates it from another crash. Is like this helicopter literally like split in half essentially, and I kept asking myself like, how did this happen? And we'll get there in a second. I went down a whole pipeline. YouTube has been recommending me videos of this left and right ever since I went down the pipeline, but we'll get to it in a sec.
Water conducting searches for any additional occupants of the aircraft.
These images showing the chopper turned upside down in the water.
We got our parts in the water.
Plane was turned around, sitting there in the water, almost like it was floating.
Tonight, authorities say the crash happened around 3:17 p.m. That's 6 people.
Unlike a car, when you're able to break open the door, I've heard of water cutting like a razor knife with enough pressure. Oh, yikes.
People were on board that flight, and there are no survivors.
You know what's actually really interesting about this? Like, usually when I see a crash, like a helicopter crash, my brain immediately goes to like, oh, there's something with the pilot, or like, I don't know. I always think of like, oh, was there enough pilots in the cockpit? Was the pilot skilled enough? Was the pilot, like, I always think about like all the things with the pilot. With this one, that did not cross my mind at all, and I still to this minute don't think anything about the pilot.
According to the manifest, aboard the helicopter were 6 people. 1 pilot, 2 adults, and 3 children.
The mayor saying it was a tourist sightseeing flight with a family from Spain on board that had taken off from Lower Manhattan.
I have the entire family members. We're lifting them up in prayer.
We were met by the first responders and they told us they did everything they can to try to save these victims, and you can see the trauma in their face.
Dominic Cognata was walking to a flag football game on Manhattan's West Side when he witnessed the crash. What did you see?
So I just happened to be walking, and I heard like it sounded like a engine just dying, and it was like do 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 do, and I just turned, I looked, and I saw the helicopter crash and splash into the water.
A former NTSB investigator tells us the video appears to show the chopper breaking apart.
Well, it appears to me from the video that there was some sort of catastrophic flight control malfunction where the main rotor blade and head, and the tail rotor blade assembly departed the aircraft in flight.
Did you see that? Did you see that right there? Look at this. The spinny part on top. Watch it on the right side.
In flight.
Boom.
Sam joins us again live. And Sam, eyewitnesses are telling you more about what they saw when that chopper went down?
Yeah, Tom, that's right. We spoke to another eyewitness who said it appears that something happened to the tail, dislodging the main rotor of the chopper, causing it to fall in a free fall. Right now, obviously, this crash is under investigation. The NTSB, Tom, is launching its own team. Tom.
All right, Sam Brock on those final moments. This crash is raising new concerns about the potential dangers of helicopter tourism. Emily Aketa has more.
So this tourism company just like went out of business for a while until they get their shit together. But hang on here. I wanted to show you guys the pipeline that I went down with this. So I think it might be like in my history maybe. I want to show you these videos I saw because this Oh, hydrotech is something different. I'm thinking of an industry water jet cutter. I don't even know what that is. It sounds like you know more about flying than I know. I want to show you guys this video I saw. Come on, where's the video at? Oh, wait. Nope. Hold on. Oh my God, I watched like a billion. What went wrong? It might have been this one, the what went wrong video. Hang on a second. Oh, here. This is what I saw.
O-6 helicopter end up crashing with its own rotor blades, slicing through the tail section and then separating from the main fuselage. We'll break down the detailed timeline of events along with several theories behind the crash. And one stands out the most. This is mass bumping, a dangerous event where the rotor hub strikes the...
Watch this.
Bumping. A dangerous event where the rotor hub strikes the mast, often caused by abrupt control inputs or low-G maneuvers. Not to forget the recorded conversation of the air controllers.
LaGuardia, New York 39, back with you for Bravo, sir.
We have the full audio until it crashes and more details all in the video ahead. This is a detailed timeline of how the helicopter crashed on April 10, 2025. In the evening around 2:59, a Bell 2 06 L4 Long Ranger 4 helicopter registration N216MH, operated by New York Helicopter Charter, departs the downtown Manhattan heliport on a sightseeing tour. The flight, its sixth of the day, includes 5 passengers. Spanish Siemens executive Agustin Escobar, his wife Merce Kemprubi Montal.
Dude, why? Can I just say something? How come every time there's like a helicopter crash, like more so specifically like helicopter crashes, it's always like an SEO of a company in one or some shit like that? Why? Hey, SEOs, how about you don't go in a helicopter?
And their 3 children, ages 4, 5, and 11.
I don't mean to make a joke of it, but goddamn.
Along with a 36-year-old pilot or on board the helicopter. 3 to 3:08.
It's like the SEO thing. It's like if you're an SEO, you have to go in a helicopter. I swear.
PM. The helicopter flies south, circles the Statue of Liberty, then turns north along the Hudson River, ascending to approximately 1,000 feet. It continues past the George Washington Bridge before reversing course to head south along the New Jersey shoreline 467. 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Witnesses report loud noises resembling gunshots or sonic...
No, SEO. Like the SEO of a company, like the boss, the head honcho of a company.
Boom, as the helicopter begins to disintegrate midair. Video footage captures the tail rotor and main rotor
blade. That is so cooked. This, like, dog. I cannot. Knowing that this can happen on a helicopter, you can bet your ass I'm never going on a helicopter again.
Video.
Ain't no shot are you gonna get me on a helicopter after knowing this. Look at that. Fuck no, dude. Fuck no. This is literally how it happened. Hell no, dude. Ain't no way. And if I am going on one, I'm asking about when the rotor last got inspected. If it didn't get inspected yesterday, I'm not going on that shit. No way. That is so cooked.
The tail rotor and main rotor blade detaching, followed by the fuselage plunging into the Hudson River upside down near Pier of Park, Hoboken at a 45-degree angle. 3:17 Eastern Time, the helicopter crashes into the river, fully submerging in 50-degree water. Let's take a closer look at how the crash might have happened from a technical standpoint. The 2025 Hudson River helicopter crash appears to have been caused by an in-flight breakup of the aircraft, with key issues involving the rotor and tail. Eyewitnesses and aviation experts reported that the helicopter's main rotor detached midair, slicing through the tail boom. This caused the aircraft to spiral out of control before crashing into the river. The catastrophic nature of the failure is consistent with the wreckage, missing rotor blades and a disintegrated tail section.
That's all we needed to know on that. That's insane. That is insane. All right, let's move on to this next thing real quick. I want to talk about this. This next thing is like, okay, this next thing is like kind of controversial. I know we have like mixed opinions on this, and I like loosely talk about it. Don't mind me like making little thumbnail thingies down here. So I know I like loosely talk about this, on here, but I don't talk about much. But anyway, this is like the, I think it's called like the Hassan derangement syndrome that he calls it, where it's like people hear Hassan after not watching him and then go, oh, Hassan bad. And like, sure, you can have your opinions on him for sure. I think everyone has their own opinions on like his money and his house and da-da-da-da-da. But I saw this video and it like kind of like summed up my thoughts on this whole thing.
On is the biggest leftist political commentator. Every leftist kind of has to have an opinion about him. And I think my opinion about him is pretty unique. Now, I can count the number of disagreements I have with that guy on one hand. And while I don't watch his streams, I do see him on YouTube. And every single negative thing that I have heard from other leftists is either misinformation or a lie. And I mean every single negative thing. Because I double check, right? It sounds...
I've actually become a stan of Hassan since we last talked, when I used to just like him as a leftist ally. Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah, I feel like there just gets to be a lot out there about him. And then well, for me, I've like met him in person. I've also like watched enough of his streams in full, and I'm just like, you know what? I kind of respect his opinion.
Sounds too good to be true. Okay, so I double check. And they're wrong. One time, I actually knew what they were talking about because I watched...
Why does this guy also have like the same glasses as Hassan?
That morning, and then I came on here and I saw someone say that, oh, he's a misogynist because he said this about this woman. And I was there and I remember that he said actually the exact opposite. He said the exact opposite. And I do bring this up whenever I encounter it. I'm like, hey, I was there. Or hey, I double checked. This isn't correct. And it's like radio silence. So over time, I've learned to use Hassan as a litmus test. And so whenever I come on here and I see Hassan hate, I always double check, because you never know with someone, right? Someone might be a shitty person secretly. There might be, that one thing that he has done that is unforgivable and has just not come to light yet. Always double check. But after I double check, then I have to consider, did this person either A, lie to me, and if so, what else are they lying about?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Whenever you hear someone say something about Hassan and this and that, even if it's not Hassan, it's someone else, you should always like double check it. And it's like sometimes these people just, it's really easy. I've noticed like it becomes incredibly easy to like repeat talking points of like things that aren't actually based off of using Hassan as a litmus test. That is such a sentence. Yeah. It's funny because, like, this is like something like I think we all do, where it's like you hear something and it sounds right, so you want to say it, right? And like, guys, sure, I've done that in the past before, when I've like heard someone and then I like end up looking it up. I'm like, oh fuck, that thing I said was not right, and it's like. The first time you heard him was after Ukraine was invaded, and he said Russia wouldn't invade despite bad first impressions. I watch him daily. That was like, it's so funny because you must have caught that in like for every like, I don't know, 100 things he says, he'll have like 2 just like really bad takes between it. sometimes his bad takes land at the fact that he's like ESL. Like he'll say something and then not realize what he said because English is not his first language. But that case is not that. That case is just, he just straight up had a bad take there. It's funny that you caught that bad take. Oh, Denims is awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, I watch Hassan every day. I just finished watching the broadcast before I got in here. Denims is awesome too. She's on, I think, like every day except Tuesday and Wednesday. I think she's on, but she's on at like, I think it's 12 Pacific, 9 Central in the morning. She streams until Hassan gets on. As soon as Hassan logs in, she usually signs off. She's really cool.
Or B, they're just being negligent. And if they're being negligent with that and spreading misinformation like that without having the just literally looking it up, then what else are they spreading misinformation about? So I file these leftists in my head as like, oh, I gotta double check literally everything they say because I no longer trust them. Because after the 13th time, I've learned my lesson. I've learned that this is all just made up, right? And again, I still always double check. You should always double check.
Here's the thing. Here's another thing about made up stuff too. Like, especially nowadays on the internet, this is something that I'm kind of a, I don't know how to put it. Like I'm like kind of like an oblivious person in a way where something can be happening so blatantly obvious right in front of my face, but somehow I'll like overlook it and then just be like, huh? And the reason I say that is because like sometimes it'll even take me a little bit to catch on to stuff that's just like straight up bullshit. I mean, I'm pretty good at getting on it when it comes to like politics or when it comes to like obvious rights and wrongs, but like sometimes there'll be stuff that has like a mix of like rights and wrongs, but it's just obviously wrong. But I'll be like, wait, but that's right. And I've came to realize the reason I'm telling you this is because on the internet, it's much easier to lie. Like lies are always going to get more views. Lies are always going to get by easier. Lies are easier to consume. But actually, educational thoughts and, intelligence is much harder for people to consume because it takes longer for your brain to adapt to it and for your brain to process it. So if there's something that's going to take you a little bit longer to process, then unless you're like, like someone in my own community here or someone that has a brain that can actually process things, unless you're that, then you're probably going to want to take in the lie first. The Destiny, Ethan, anti-Hassan orbit aren't spreading. They're pushing disinformation. Oh, the Destiny, Ethan, anti-Hassan. Yeah, they are. Exactly. Lying is OP in the internet influencer meta strategy. Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of why I stopped watching a lot of like TikToks. Like, despite us watching TikToks right now, these are like this TikTok and like the TikTok I'm showing you are like the first TikToks I've seen in like weeks. I just kind of like logged off of TikTok for a while. And short form content, it's so much quicker and easier to lie than it is to like do something cool or say something with actual intelligence. And here's the home of lies right here. Frickin' Twitter, dude. This is the home of frickin' lies. But yeah, let's go back to that.
That's my whole problem with this. Some of y'all are not double checking. Now, the one exception is SWERFs, right? Like sex worker exclusionary radical feminists, because that is a legitimate disagreement. And so you might think someone is misogynist for being pro-sex work. That is an ideological argument. You're not spreading misinformation, but also I just don't agree with you. So those guys, ironically enough, get a pass.
Wait, what? What did you say at the end?
Because that is I still always double check. You should not double checking. Now, the one exception is SWERFs, right? Like sex worker exclusionary radical feminists, because that is a legitimate disagreement. And so you might think someone is misogynist for being pro-sex work. That
misogynist for being pro-sex work? Who would think that?
Is an ideological argument. You're not spreading misinformation, but...
Wait, why? What? Why is that going over my head? Is that I struggle with double negatives. Does anyone else struggle with double negatives?
Legitimate disagreement, and so you might think someone is misogynist for being pro-sex work.
Or like double positives I struggle with too. Did I just gloss over that? See what I mean? See how I told you I'm oblivious? This is exactly what I'm talking about.
That is a legitimate disagreement, and so you might think someone is misogynist for being pro-sex work. That is an ideological argument.
Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna go past that. That confused me. I'm pro-sex work. I don't know what else to say about that. In fact, I tell anyone, if that's your shtick, you want to go do sex work, fucking go off. Make your money, kings or queens. Go do it. Okay. This other random TikTok I want to talk about. I don't even know who this is. Not a popular TikTok, but I saw this, and I wanted to talk about it, because I feel like it's very present in our society today, and I don't know. I think there's a lot to talk about here.
The more you do it, the harder it actually...
Oh, oops.
The thing about doing things alone is that the more you do it, the harder it actually gets. I just ran a half marathon today, and I did it by myself. I did it all alone. No one showed up. No one came to support, and people said that they would, and they didn't. And you know, I just completed this marathon, and I'm at the finish line, and I'm seeing everybody around me with their families and with their partners and their significant others.
Yeah. Does anyone else do things alone? Anybody? I think this is a rather like interesting topic, because I do feel like loneliness is becoming increasingly popular. And it's not the first time I've talked about this on this stream. It's maybe like the second or third time I've talked about it. But let's see. Feminists who believe sex workers have a position that's opinion, but so they're not spreading misinformation by calling sex. Oh. You're right. I think that is what he's saying. Okay. Thank you for figuring that out. You can see how quickly that went above went whoop right over my head. But to this video right here, yeah, I think loneliness is becoming like increasingly popular. Unfortunately, I think there's a lot of like factors involved in it. Everyone has their own reasons as to why. In her case here, she's talking about like doing a marathon all alone, which, god damn, that's a whole thing. Like, especially when you get done running the marathon, I feel like it'd be nice to have like someone there at the end of it, right? It's like you kind of just bust your ass, and then it's like you can make the argument that you can do things for yourself, which I'm sure that's the reason why she did it. She did it for herself, but it's like after doing that, you'd probably want someone at the end of it being there to cheer you on, kind of thing. And this person said, I'm sorry, you have to live your life whether you have an audience or not. Don't let anyone stop you from having experiences. Same, it sucks. Maybe I'll go out and do things alone. When you do it all alone, it's not that fun anymore. Yeah, I think, okay, here's the thing. I'm someone who, like, does go to stuff alone, like, more often than not. And this is not just, like, a new thing. I've been going to things alone for quite a while now. I have no issue doing things myself, but I get the feeling of wanting people there for big things. Yeah, see, I'm kind of the same way, where it's like, I go to shows, and, like, today I tried to buy a ticket for a show in the middle of Ohio. I'm like, I know I'm driving 4.5 hours alone. I'm going to that all alone. I don't care. I've been doing things alone for quite some time now. But I will say this. As someone that has been doing things for, like, I've been getting better at, like, inviting friends and, like, things like that. I've been, like, in a lot of, like, texting groups lately with friends that have been inviting me to do things, which is nice. I'm trying to get better at that because I'm very much like programmed into my busy schedule that I'm like, I know I have 2 hours to do this thing and I don't know who's going to be available. And quite honestly, I'm really used to this. This sucks, but I'm honestly really used to like people not responding to my texts or me being like, hey, I'll go plan something with friends, and then not getting a response, I'm like, that's like almost my thing that I'm used to at this point. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm doing it on my own. And sometimes I don't even think to text friends, so I just do stuff alone so that I don't encounter an issue with a friend. And I've like somehow found peace and happiness in doing such a thing. And I treat it as like, if a friend can come along, great. If a friend can't, then whatever. But it does get a little bit like, after a while, you're kind of like, it'd be nice to have friends here. But let's see what she had to say.
And it sucks. It really sucks. Like, I'm just tired of it. Like, I'm tired of having to do everything alone. Having to, you know, if I want to do anything, it has to be by myself because I'm not anybody's priority. I'm not... I'm just there. Like, no one...
How do I put this? How do I put this? Do you guys have friends that maybe I'm the oddball in this one, but do you hear how she was like, I'm not anybody's priority? This is something that I've heard like over and over again from friends of mine. Like, I've heard friends of mine say this, not to me, but about like people that they're friends with, be like, oh, I'm not my friend's priority or whatever. And I think about that a lot, and I'm like, I don't think I'm anybody's priority, and I don't know that I, quite frankly, want to be somebody's priority. But maybe other people feel differently about this. Maybe other people want someone that is like their priority, or to be their priority. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a weird one. I have no issue doing things myself, but I get, let's see. Oh, humans are social, but American society is insecure about being okay with yourself and codependent. Yeah. I feel like, I don't know why people are insecure about being okay being by yourself. Like, I think it's going off of that. I think here's my thing. I think you should get good at doing things by yourself. You might, like, one of the very first times I did something alone, I actually got really sad about it. The first thing I ever did completely alone was fly to LA. And I know that sounds wild. I'm like a pretty social person. But there was like one year I wanted to go to LA, and there was like, I had no work for a week. So I was like, I'm going to go. And my friends that I was thinking about going with couldn't go. But I remember I got dropped off and I was like all alone. I like was basically on the verge of like crying. I was like, holy shit, I don't know what to do. And then I got on the plane, put in some music, and I felt good again. And then I got there and I was like, holy shit, it was my first time in LA, and I was like, it's really pretty here. And I think I saw like palm trees for one of the first few times in my life. And I was like, all right, I'm chilling. And then I eventually did see some friends in LA, and then it kind of all went away. And then I came home, and I started like skateboarding alone, started like maybe going to the store alone and like shopping alone. And I started to realize that like there is excitement in that. I think it's important that everybody gets out and like does something alone so that you don't feel this like insecurity about doing things by yourself. I think it's, especially, this is like a good skill to have, especially if you like are trying to date somebody, so that your partner that you're with doesn't think you're completely dependent on them. Because if your partner senses that you're completely dependent on them, depending on who it is, they might end up hating you in the long run for that, and eventually break up with you, dare I say. I don't think it's good to be like dependent on your partner. You guys should have like your own hobbies and say, hey, I'm going to go hang out with my friends tonight. You go hang out with your friends. We don't have to do this thing together. Like, you can go to your show with your friends. I can go to my basketball game with my friends, or whatever it is. I think that's like a really important thing. I'm giving a lot of advice on this broadcast tonight. Wow, my lighting felt funny to me. Does it look a little better now? I feel like it looks a little better now. Although it's making my eyes trip out. It's making my eyes trip. I don't like it. All right, there we go. Yeah. But the other thing I was going to say, yeah, do you guys have, the way she said that was like, I'm not, she was, in this video, she was like, I'm not anybody's priority. Do you guys have that where you like prioritize certain friends where you're like, this friend of mine is my priority? Do you have that? Am I the weirdo here? I'm starting to feel like the weirdo. Let me know. I hope I'm not the weirdo. Maybe I am. I'm getting a little bit concerned. But I have friends that, you know, if something bad happens and I'm in the middle of doing something, I'm going to stop said thing to go help out said friend, right? Where it's like, yeah, I'll make, you know, said friend's issue a priority. Like I was doing something this past week and I found out that like a friend of mine had passed away, which it was like kind of like a somewhat distant friend. Doesn't make it any better or anything, but I found that out through another friend and found out that a closer friend of mine was like not doing so well in the process of finding out that said person passed away. So I kind of like had to put things I was doing to a halt. And then I was kind of like, all right, let me check in on this friend, make sure this friend is going to be okay. Because it was like someone I had like grown up with, you know? And so I like took some time away that I could have been working to be like, you know, is this friend going to be okay? But I don't like friends who are close and going through shit get priority. Popped in. Oh, what's up? How you doing, Biologic? Good to see you in here. Popped in a weird way to put it, but I have better friends I talk to more. Sorry to hear about your friends. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. That's a nice first message. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, that's what I think both Chris and Biologic, I think you guys both put it. Yeah, it's like friends that are going through something that you're closer with, that you might talk to more, have like a priority. But they're not like I just don't think I have I don't think I have like a said person in my life that, and this sounds bad to say, but even if I had like a partner, like I mean that person would be like priority, right? But it's not like for instance, like, okay, like this one relationship that I was in, I remember something came up with her and I was in the middle of work, but I couldn't just like leave work or like whatever. It was like, wasn't like a threatening emergency, but it was like something that could be handled a little bit later. And I remember like getting told that like, she was like, oh, I'm not your priority because you didn't stop working right now to come help me out with this or whatever. And I was thinking to myself, like, I'm mid-work. I can't just like leave work. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. That's why I have like a gray area with that whole like priority conversation where it's like, do I want to be there and be like, you know, there for my partner if something happens? Yeah, of course I do. But are there situations where that person can't be your like priority? Yeah, of course. So it's like, I don't know. It's a weird thing when I hear that. It's like a really weird, I don't know.
No one cares enough to show up. And if you feel the same way, just know that you're not alone.
And I do understand. Yeah. Oh, oops. I didn't even show the video there.
And if you feel the same way, just know that you're not alone.
I feel like too nowadays there's like quite a bit of people out there that just like don't have friends because they're not like very social people. And hey, that's okay too. If you're someone that doesn't have very many friends, maybe you have like one or two friends. That's okay. I can't blame you for that. Not everyone's social. Not everyone knows how to make friends or make close friends, or maybe you move throughout your life and you don't have many people that you can get close with in a good enough time that you're around or whatever it might be. I do get that, actually. That's super valid. But I think that's all I wanted to say on this conversation. I just saw this video and wanted to talk about that a little bit. Should we move on to the next thing? Let's move on. Coachella. Okay, Coachella. So if you aren't aware, there is a music festival out in LA I believe, unless they change locations, I will double check this. Where is, I think it's LA. Where is Coachella? Okay, yeah, it still is LA in Indio, California. But they had quite a disaster of a festival this year. And let's talk about that real quick.
What the hell are you doing? We have been stuck in line for nearly 10 hours. We showed up here for camping at 3 in the morning and got in line. It's almost 1 p.m. right now. We still...
It has to be an emergency and stuff because one friend's dire emergency may just be a codependent anxiety attack. Yep, exactly. Yup. Whoa. All right, we're going to talk about the Coachella thing.
What the hell are you doing? We have been stuck in line for nearly 10 hours. We showed up here for camping at 3 in the morning and got in line. It's almost 1 p.m. right now. We still haven't even gone through security. And
Dog. Okay, I'm going to say something about this immediately, right off the bat. As soon as I heard about all this, and I'll get to the article because there was an article talking about this. But as soon as I heard about all this, it reminded me of like Fire Festival, and not only that, but it reminded me of like the current like economy. I feel like Coachella just didn't have as many people like, you know, checking people at the gate, or like didn't have as many. Coachella people are really a different breed. Like how even, did you hear about Fire Festival too? Yeah, I like briefly heard about Fire Festival too. I like vaguely, that's why I just mentioned, that's why I like loosely mentioned it just now. Was this Fire Festival 2 as venue disputes controversial Billy McFarland's claims? Controversial event organizer Billy McFarland is offering ticket packages as far as $1 million for Fire Festival, the original highly touted music extravagant in 2017. Landed McFarland in jail for fraud. Fire Festival doesn't look any more promising than Flame Out as the Mexican venue. The guy Billy who scammed everyone is out on parole. And immediately, oh my God. Oh my God, dude. Holy shit, that's bad. That's so bad. We inform you that no event. Why do I not trust this website that I'm on right now? He was on Tosh Show. Get up. They can't even play live music. Jeez Louise. Update. Is this on TikTok? Do I need to watch TikToks on this now? Hang on. Let's pull up TikToks. There's probably TikTok, or was I reading?
I'm 27 years old, live in Chicago, and I've been.
God, I hate how TikTok can't just open. Let's see. Without.
It's been a rough couple weeks.
Here we go. Fire Festival 2.
I am one of the artists who declined an offer from Fire Festival 2 to perform, and here's what I know. I was reached out to by Billy's partner named Mike Falb. I had a lot of mutual friends with him, and then I found out that
I saw this video.
So I called him and I said, is this guy legit? He said that he was legit, and also that he would call Billy from jail all the time while they lived together, which is hilarious, but also, what is Billy plotting from jail? He should be plotting paying people back, not making new festivals. They gave me a pretty lousy offer, which would be flights and hotels are covered, but there's no artist fee. And if it's a shit show, I'm basically left with nothing. So I said, no thank you to that. If there's money involved, get back to me. I'm going to assume they had a hard time finding anyone because they did come back to me. They offered me a small fee on top of that. So I got on a call with the guy. I actually recorded our entire call on photo booth from my computer. If you want me to make a part 2, I can include it. I asked him a ton of questions. I said, you know, why would the Mexican government deny that you're throwing a festival here? Obviously, judging by the first one, I have a lot of fears about this one. Inevitably, I'm sure most of what you're having to do with your time is defend yourself, And he told me that I actually asked the most questions out of everyone. He seemed kind of annoyed by that, to which I said, good for me. Then I got a formal offer. And I said, thank you, but I need to see.
Oh my god, dude. Look at this. The details, Festival 2.
Who the other artists are before I agree to anything, because my rule is if I don't recognize any of the lineup, I'm not gonna go. I need to at least know someone who's performing.
Smart gal. Wait, so McFarlane wound up serving about 4 years of a 6-year sentence before being released. Now he's back in action, but PR specialist declares the second edition possesses all the characteristics of a new disaster. Wait, so Fire Festival 2? No way. There's like a whole website for it? What's going on here? What is happening? What is this? Why are we getting a countdown to 100? What is happening? Wait, what? No way. Are people actually getting tickets to this? No. No shot, people are. No. Hey, yo! Hey, yo! Yo! What is up with this? VIP access 5. Yo! I cannot do this. Look, $25,000 for the artist access. I cannot wait for this to go. Oh my god. General access. Yeah, easy. In this economy, $1,400. Vice article titled Update reveals some major spills the tea. Here, wait. Vice latest Firefest. Here, wait. Let's open that. Vice latest Firefest. Thank you, chatter. To update. Here we go. I trust Vice. I didn't trust that other one that I was on. It did have accurate. It just felt weird. Sentiment. The first failure. Here we are. Firefest 2. Some new updates include red flags. Spill more trouble. Following a state. Dude, what the fuck is up? Can we just? What is going on in music festivals? I'm someone who like works them and is someone who like actively participates in music festivals. What is going on? Can we get them right? There's always got to be something so fucked up. All right. Following a statement on the President Billy McFarlane, which dates. My throat's starting to hurt again. Should drink some water. New Mexico reports the paperwork appeals reveal the permits only authorize a multi-day listing where the capacity limit. One of the permits on the documents dated March 18 allows Firefest 2 to be held at a beach club with 250 people allowed to attend with a total of 12 hours between 12 a.m. and 4 a.m. each day. Oh, here's what you were talking about. Here's what Chris was talking about. Firefest do not allow live music. No live performances are permitted. The documents for Musica Grabata, which translates to recorded music, to be played at the event. This is a far cry from McFarlane's that Firefest 2 would allow for 1,800 attendees and live performances from more than 36 artists. Dude! It does not allow live music, but yet, this is what they want. So what's happening at Firefest? Is it just a gathering of people? Just to gather with some friends? That's how much it costs? What's going on here? Am I losing my mind? Oh my god, dude. Additionally, consequences of Firefest 2 tickets have been removed from soldout.com Festival's ticketing partner. Before being taken down, tickets went for between 1,400 and 25,000 with premium packages higher than 1 million in some cases. Dude, okay. I'm going to say something that might be like, no, never mind. That's not controversial. Like, even, okay, listen. I'm someone who works with artists. I know what it's like to be like big or small artist. Not just because someone's a big artist doesn't mean they make a lot of money necessarily. Some do, most do, but there's still some big artists out there that aren't making a lot of money. So when they're doing a festival, they do get usually more money from the ticket. It's just a bigger audience sellout and things like that, more merch sales, etc. Usually ends up being more money. But when, like, at what cost? Like, I just don't see who are these people that are able to afford these tickets, man? Like, who has this kind of money in this economy? I'm hearing about people who like are, just barely able to like fucking get their own groceries to the grocery store, and these people are talking about, it's like the goddamn Elon Musks of the world are going to this Fire Festival, more like the oligarch festival. Am I right? Terrible joke, but you get the point. There are at this time, no music arts talent have been announced. Firefest 2, but NFL's entertainment has claimed that he has been booked to appear. Oh, God. Probably doesn't need to be said, but it's absolutely insane that McFarlane is fucking this up again. Like, Firefest 2 gave a chance and reveal one of the greatest redemption arcs of all time. About a month and a half into his supported kickoff May 30th, it seems like he's completely shit the bed. Yeah. Honestly, hope I'm wrong. McFarlane raised the curtain on a massive fest done right. Seems he's proven to sleight of hand. God, dude. How stupid can you get? What is happening here? Like, what is going on with music festivals? Let's get back to Coachella. We are just falling each day by day into a well of depravity. So here's the Coachella thing. Coachella mayhem boils over as festival goers brave 12-hour lines near record temperatures. Literal hell. How bad do you want any? Coachella kicked off with chaos on Thursday. I should probably make the text bigger. Coachella kicked off on Thursday with chaos as thousands journey into Indio, California to take on annual music festival. Were trapped in traffic up to 12 hours. They struggled to enter the fair only to face high record temperatures. So it was cooking in California. Not only California, but like I've been to California music festivals. They oftentimes happen in like the deserts. I think Indio, California is like the desert. I can even see right here. It looks like the damn desert. Those people were cooking. These conditions were described by many attendees as the worst the festival began since 1999, with some capturing this year's Coachella to be a famously botched fire festival and others demanding refunds before the sets had even played. So there were people that were still trying to get in while there were sets being played, so of course they're going to want a refund. That's so shitty. Like, look at all these cars, dog. They probably had like 2 people at the gate letting people in. As an event goer myself, I've noticed this is becoming a thing where there's like less and less people at the door because they can barely afford to have employees working said job. And not only that, but like most people don't want to work that job because they're not getting paid enough. So it's like a double negative issue there. It's like people don't want to work that job. They're not going to get paid enough to be able to pay their next bill. But not only that, but they're also just, they just don't have enough employees there because the wage isn't high enough. So there's like 2 people that are responsible for letting 10,000 people in. And it's like, well, no shit, that's not going to work. But some, higher up person was like, yeah, that'll work. That'll save us money up front. We'll make more money if we just have less people at the door. Why pay extra people if we don't have to? We can just, make these people wait. Who cares how they feel about waiting and, missing their artist? Who cares? We'll just have them, that's the attitude. This is the worst organization I've seen at a festival in Coachella, for God's sake. One person posted on Reddit. Oh my God. Look at these people are just waiting. I made a joke earlier that I didn't know Fire Festival were included. But that's how I feel. Coachella told Insider Wise. I feel duped. People are peeing in cups. It's been about 8 hours. Gotta do what they gotta do. Dude, people drive hours on end just to get to this festival. Let's watch this girl's TikTok
and
on
everyone
it.
around us has been here for just the same amount of time. It's 100 degrees outside. People's cars are overheating. They're running out of gas. There are no bathrooms anywhere for us to use. There's staff porta potties people are being denied access to. People who've been waiting there in their car for 10 plus hours. People have literally been using the bathroom behind bushes like animals, and they paid like over $600 to be here.
Oh
This
my
whole
God.
experience has been so disappointing, and it's been...
Dude, that's another thing. They're paying $600. Like, $600 is just to go there. Not even like your hotel if you're not camping out there. Not even like the gas you spent to drive there. Not even the food money you're spending, like, etc. And then the on-site fees of like food there.
extremely dehumanizing. People are pissed. The news is here. People
Okay, that's how you know it's bad too. When the news shows up because of this.
are fighting and cutting each other in line. Someone in my group got side.
If you don't want to die of heat stroke, just buy a fast pass. Yeah. Seriously, the profit-seeking skills are... Seriously, though, the profit-seeking kills the experience. Too bad Lena Khan got disappeared by the Trump admin. Yeah. Yeah. When the news shows up. Dude, yeah, if the news shows up to this shit, that's how you know it's bad. I think I've had like one experience in my life where the news showed up to something and I was like, something definitely happened. I had to like go investigate, and I was right. Something bad happened.
Swept being cut in line, and another woman literally...
You think the news is going to show up and be like, this festival's getting a lot of people through the doors. Look at all these happy faces on the campers, on the campers' faces. They're smiling with all the joy in the world. Like, no, they're not coming there to report that. Hell no.
got hit by a car because she was trying to block them from cutting in front of her. This is a complete shit show. I don't know what Coachella's going to do to fix this, but it better be big.
They should do a thing called a refund. They can afford it. Come on, Coachella. You guys can afford that. You should refund them. Let's look at the line. Yo! I'm scared to play that. I feel like it's going to clap my... Look at this line, though. That's just outside of the festival grounds. Let's see. If I search...
Reporting live from the Coachella camping line, this is a shit show. Honestly, we got here in Indio at like 3:30 and we fell in line like a little bit before 4, and we were on Monroe Street. I'm going to show you some screenshots heading down towards the polo fields. That was just a standstill line. We sat there for like 2 to 3 hours, and then we got some intel that, one of our friend had got in, and she just arrived, and she, no one's on, 54th and Jefferson. So we're like, you know what, let's just take a risk. And we have like 8 cars with us, and we're like, fine, let's go. We dip out of line. Here's some footage, some B-roll of that. And it was so risky. We get there, and boom, it's like bumper to bumper on all sides. The cops were just saying, no, you can't,
Still not as bad as Frank Ocean's performance in 2023. Frank Ocean took the stage. The effect leading question of the dynamic between the art. His second canceled due to an injury. His first performance was highly anticipated. Also, fans were disappointed. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. He had that leg injury, and then didn't Billie Eilish have a similar thing too? Like Billie Eilish injury. Wasn't it like, yeah, it was like 2015 or something? I don't remember. There was something in Billie Eilish too. Because I remember talking about this. I talked about it on a Twitch stream one day, actually. I remember this Frank Ocean thing. That's right. I remember that. That was a whole disaster and a half.
you can't get there. Everyone's been falling in line. You got to go to the back. So we're like, we just took an L. We come around and we're at 52nd, and thankfully we're not too far from where we were originally, but this is just crazy. So I did hear that there's a new security team this
year. In fact, I sympathize with him being silly. I feel like I remember it being a death in the family. Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that for sure.
Trying to like prove something to Golden Boys or whatnot, and also that they have been searching cars like crazy. I heard on Reddit that they took 1 hour to search one car at one point.
Appreciate you being here by your logic. It's good to have you here.
And that people were setting up beer pong. In total, now we've been here for like 6.5 hours, and it's wild because you have to think about the people who are driving by themselves. They don't have someone to hop in their car to let them go use the restroom, which has been wild. Everyone's just popping out of their cars left and right. And I know.
Bro, look at her car. She might be camping there, but god damn, girl. That's like everything I own. Her car is literally packed with like the amount of things that I own. Like maybe more even. I have a car. And I was able to put every single belonging of mine in my car when I moved. She has like almost more than, she has a truck and it's like almost to the top. Like, girl, you got friends? Maybe she's got friends with her or something while she's cutting up this video.
Year, like Coachella, EDC, but it's crazy. Also hear that they're going as far to check under your hood and where your spare tire would go, and this is ridiculous.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. So when you go into a festival, they like check under your hood and they like check under your car. It's almost like when you're crossing the border over to Canada. It's like they check your car in the very identical fashion. And this person correctly pointed out, with the amount of shootings that have happened at major events, it's nice to see them care about safety.
Everyone's wasting their gas. Everyone's wasting their time. Like, literally, it is 9:21. I should have said that in the beginning. It's 9:21. We would have already set up camp when the sun was coming up, and it was cool. We would have already been napping. We've probably been waking up from...
At least they're checking cars.
I showed up at like 3 in the afternoon. So I feel like
God damn, man. That must have been, let's see, people complaining about...
What the fuck is wrong with you? Seeing news stories about people complaining about long lines and the heat at Coachella Music Festival is hilarious to me. How do you not understand that you're going to a music festival and that there are people...
Oh my god, this guy probably was like the third person there. He's like, dog, I was the first one here. And, you know, I don't understand these people. They're mad that they're waiting 10 hours. I don't get it. I was the first one here. Fuck you talking about? We get the point. That's okay. That's a wrap on the Coachella conversation. I don't want to beat this one up. It's time to move on. This is the long topic, North Star Radio 1. Let's have the Asmongold conversation, shall we? Let's talk about Asmongold. Okay. Before I get into this, I can see how this conversation can kind of go to in Georgia, 20-degree weather, California. The Asmongold conversation. Okay. Asmongold. This is a guy that... Do you remember when... Okay, a couple things about Asmongold. So... I feel like people viewed him for the longest time as like the like centrist opinion guy, where he's kind of like this like both sides guy. And I've noticed in recent times he's like leaned a lot more right. And he's disgusting. Like Asmongold famously has, you know, the gross room that even his own fans know about. This is not just a me to you thing. He famously has photos of his disgusting room. But then he got canceled over a comment that he made towards Palestinians, calling them an inferior culture. And in that time that Twitch banned him for like 2 weeks, I think he spent like a week of that time cleaning up like half of his room. I imagine he dirtied it again by now, more than likely. But that point has nothing to do with what I'm about to say. Asmongold just has some not so great opinions. And he... From like the clips and stuff I've seen of him, he just seems to kind of say what's at his top of his mind and then be like, no, that's actually true. Like, yep, that's based. And then just roll with it. People like him are why I don't associate myself as a gamer. Yeah. He just has some outlandish opinions and I think he knows it gets views because here's another very interesting thing about Asmongold's content. If I go to Asmongold, based. If I go to his content, this is a very interesting thing about it. Like, he says he's apolitical, but he talks about freaking Trump all the goddamn time. He's like, Trump. Yet he's apolitical. It's common sense when saying something that makes no sense. Here's the one thing about his videos. Maybe his views are going down lately, but like he almost has like Charlie Moist Critical style views. 954, 617K, 597K, 800K. This goes back to my thing about like you don't really have to say the truth. You kind of just have to spit bullshit, and bullshit gets by quicker than the actual hard truth. 634K, 548, 949. Like he gets like 1.8. Am I a little jealous of the kind of views he gets? Sure. But that's beside the point. I don't know that I'm jealous of his viewership. His viewership, on the other hand, is insane. I'm starting to be convinced his viewership is like 14-year-olds with no cohesive thoughts based on the opinions that he gives. So here's an opinion Asmongold had on April 5th that I saved. Let's see what Asmon had to say.
You can be groomed for sure. No, and that's a good point, right? Is that like that's why I said as an adult is because like if you're a kid and like you get fed a lot of propaganda and like messaging, like I feel like every trans kid is actually a victim of a parent with a mental illness.
Here's the weird thing about him. It's like he says stuff with like the most confidence for some reason. I don't know where this like outlandish confidence comes from to say such a like. How do you arrive at this opinion? I could live under a rock and like have buried myself the last like 20 years of my life and be 5 years old and not even arrive at this. I said 5 years. The last 20 years of my life and be 9 years old and still not arrive at this opinion. Like,
is actually a victim of a parent with a mental illness.
It's like he hasn't left his bedroom and hasn't gone out and socialized or like talked to another person, watched another video, like you have to. And also too, why is he so mad at transgender? Like this just comes from a place of being mad at transgender people, as if transgender people have made a big problem, and that he has to. It's like.
That's what I believe. And so, like, I really, and this is, you got a kid that's like 17, right? I mean,
keep in mind, this is the same guy that said Palestinian people are an inferior culture.
It's a little bit more, it's like not really as definitive. But like, if you have a kid that's like pre-puberty and they're trans, your parents have a mental illness.
Oh my God. In his mind, he's like, oh yeah, this is based, and like I can guarantee you, his chat was like, yeah, based. Now let's see. I want to see what the comments are like on this. Someone said Asmon has the lowest IQ of any room he walks into. Asmongold's a roach of a human. You're getting blue check marks saying this. If you're getting a blue check mark account disagreeing with you, that's like the ultimate bad. You know what I mean? Trans rights are humans' rights. All his takes just continue to sow discord and perpetuate violence done by the 20-year-old edgy weirdos. Yeah, and that's another thing, too. That's why I'm talking about this, because comments like this perpetuate violence towards other transgender people. People see this, and then it starts at hatred, and then it's like bigotry, and then people start harassing people, and then it turns into violence. It's a terrible pipeline. And look at this. Someone right here, Donut Operator on Twitter, says, yeah, that seems about right. What really bugs me about this is that he doesn't even explain zero statistics back him up. Yeah, I said it. Yeah. That's the other thing, too. Every trans kid has groomers, pedophiles as parents. Huh? I like how I go to this girl's profile right here, followed by Steve Will Do It. Probably the least intelligent person on the internet. Steve Will Do It. Christ's sake. Asman used a dead rat as an alarm clock, used a soda as a chaser for water, wipes his diseased, bloody gums on his walls, and watches his mother smoke herself to death. He knows mental illness because he lives in it. He just isn't qualified to speak on it. Ew, that's his room. He's right. It's sad that we live in a world where this is like, you know, a point that people have to be like, is he? Oh, wait, no, he could be right. He could be right. Hang on a moment. And then there's people that are like, you know, like myself that are like, no, dude, this is just fucking wrong. That's it. There's no counter argument to this. Like, the Cossack turns his numbers into a shame counter. Yeah, that's why I said, like, I'm jealous of his, like, view count, but not jealous of the people watching within that view count. And in some cases, honestly, too, I like having, like, right, like what we have here, like a smaller community. I always hear streamers, when they get, like, big, talk about how they miss their, like, small community they had of just, like, 4 and 5 people, like we have going here. And I'm like, anytime I hear that, I'm like, God damn, I appreciate everyone that's here. And I've said this isn't me just saying this for the first time. I've said this to you guys time and time again. I say it almost every stream. I'm like, it's really nice to have like a really nice, you know, tight-knit community here. There's Blender, By Your Logic. You just hopped in. I think it's maybe the second time I've seen you in here, maybe first. We have Chris. We have Maria. There's a couple others that hop in for some streams here and there. That's been really nice people to have. Now, let's go out to another Asmongold opinion here, shall we?
They're working, and also I think a lot of young people don't have as much investment in the stock market, so the tariffs don't seem to be as much of a tangible evil to them because they don't get to observe the negative effects. So, big surprise that a bunch of old people that have capital are mad about their capital gains going down. Who could have ever guessed that? And also, a lot of young people are moving away from this too, because they see this and they're like, well, this is my future, and I don't want to sign it away to like some illegal immigrant. I don't want to sign it away to Israel. You know, like, how many times have you guys seen the picture of like somebody saying, I'm not signing up for the draft to go fight for Israel? A lot of people think that. You know who's been popping off a lot on TikTok?
Oh, here it is.
Nick. You know the Nick I'm talking about. Everybody knows.
Look at his chat. Nick Fuentes. Yeah, Giga Chad. Based Fuentes. Someone did say Nazi Nick down here, but below that someone wrote based.
A lot of people.
Look at this. Nazi Nick. Based. Dude, oh my god. So his chat, so he's got people in his chat that like Nick Fuentes, the famous neo-Nazi that lives very close to me. It's very scary. I'm dead serious. I probably lived within a few minutes of that neo-Nazi. It's really scary.
Victim of a parent with a mental illness. Yeah. That's what I believe. And so, like, I really, and this, you got a kid that's like,
okay, he doubles down on
17,
this, watch.
Right? I mean, it's a little bit more, you know, it's like not really as definitive. But like, if you have a kid that's like pre-puberty and they're trans, your parents have a mental illness. And this is something that a lot of people need to hear. It is. It's something a lot of people need to hear. In school, yeah, no, you're right. And it could also be a school. And it's not always the parents. Sometimes it's a school too. But there's...
Oh my God, he has nothing to back this up. Yeah, it's the school too. This is not, he acts like he's already right once, but then he has to add to be like, oh yeah, this thing that I'm already wrong on, I have to make up another excuse for. Crazy to be against transgender people when you're a trans-species rat. Doubly crazy to be pro-Israel but anti-Semitic. Yeah. Yeah, this is another thing too. Like, Asmongold, I can tell you right now, has no transgender friends at all. And I don't want to say this with certainty, but I can tell you that I'm pretty sure Asmongold doesn't hang around transgender people at all. Because if you did and you talked to a transgender person, you would not arrive at this opinion. In fact, you don't even need to talk to a transgender person to come at, you know, to not have this opinion that he has. You can just be a normal person to not have this opinion. I mean, it's like transgender people aren't. He acts like they're like out to get him, and they're harmful people, and they're a whole different kind of person or something. They're this completely other thing. It's like, oh my God, dude.
There's an adult with a mental illness in your life. That's a great point. And so anyway, a lot of people were posting this trying to act like, oh wow, like
dirt. The stock market isn't in a vacuum. The negative effects spread from Wall Street. I hate Asmongold so much because he makes me defend the stock market. He's talking about volunteering at Planned Parenthood. I think he's leaning into the right-wing grift. Yeah, I think he is too. Did you, Chris, you've probably seen this because you watch Denim's stream. Denim's talks about Asmongold all the fucking time. Anytime he has like a bad opinion, she'll talk. We have like, I think it's like Mold Mondays. We'll talk about Asmongold, and a lot of Asmongold conversation on that stream. They aren't very bright. Asmon and his chat are such neo-Nazis. 20 days adjacent of American blood. Yeah.
We're going to try to get him in trouble for this shit. Like, I'm sorry, but this is like a 90-10 issue. This is like beyond even 80-20. Like, everybody fucking thinks this. The only reason that nobody's saying it is because people are afraid of saying it. The fact is,
people are afraid of saying it. That's like the right-wing grift. That's what you say when you lean right-wing. Say, oh no, no one's saying it because everyone else is afraid to say it. Oh, God. Yeah, that's the reason, Asmongold. There you go. There you go, buddy. No, they're not saying it because it's not true, you fucking idiot. With a mental illness.
So, like, I don't really give a shit because, like, I mean, fuck. Like, I people hate me all the time, right? So, like, there's nothing to lose. But the fact is that it's a 99-1. It's an extreme situation.
How does Twitch not ban him for this? That's another good question to be asking here. He gets banned for saying Palestinians are an inferior culture, but it's not going to get banned for this, too.
And especially, like, we're talking about, like, you know, I said, like, pre-puberty. And this is really the logic, right? Is that, so pretty much you have, like, the idea of being trans is tied to gender roles, but when you don't even understand what your own gender role is because it doesn't exist, because you're pre-puberty, and you haven't even, you know, gone through any sort of, like, sexual development at all.
What is he talking about? You haven't gone through any sexual development at all? What? Oh my God. Oh my God. It feels like a 2-year-old is talking right now. Oh my God. It's rich coming from Asmon. It makes people wonder who the fuck raised him. Why are they in prison? Not under the current. Dude is surprisingly close to Elon. No, you just swing that with the anti. Dude is surprisingly close to Elon. No way you could swing that with the anti-DEI. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
How could you know that you don't have, how could you know that this is not correlated to what you want? Well, guess what? The reason why is because you have an adult whispering in your ear telling you it's not.
You have an adult whispering? Oh, yeah, that's the reason. Where does he get this reasoning from? Does he get this from, like, his own experience or something, and he's now just using his own experience to be like, yep, that's the reason for transgender people. He's the lol cow of denim streams. Yeah, he is. Oh, you guys thought, okay. Here, let's go over another Asmongold opinion here. Asmongold getting backlash for his take on tipping culture. What did he say about tipping culture?
Holy shit! God damn! Yeah, just do a custom. So what you do in a situation like this, by the way, is you just do a custom tip and you make it 0.
All right, hang on. Pause, champ. This is a long-winded conversation to have here. This is a long-winded conversation. Post-COVID, these tip things started showing up a lot more at places. Now you see them at things like I never did my bit for Dino Nuggies. Yeah, that's what he's gonna say. Asmon's getting mad he's not tipping his mom for Dino Nuggies. So this is the thing here. These started showing up post-COVID, and there's like places where it like makes sense still, where it's like you're at a restaurant, right? And like the waiter or waitress spins the iPad around or hands you it, or maybe it's already at the table. There you still tip because you're still eating, you still tip it, whatever, right? But I'm starting to see these at places where it like kind of doesn't make sense. Like I'll give you an example. I was at a Sweetgreen recently that not even like a human was making the food. Like a little robot arm like dropped the food in my food bowl, and then like one person just like took it off that thing and moved it like 1 inch over to the place where I grab it. And that was like the only time a human touched my food or like was in proximity to my food. The rest of it, a robot did it all. And then the iPad was there and it was like tip, and it had like 20%, 40%, 20, 30, 40%, I think it was, or something. And I was like, I don't think I should tip this. I think it had like a thing that was like 0% or whatever, so I just didn't tip because there was no human interaction. It was just a to-go meal. And I'm starting to see this pop up at like places that I think what the case is that places now, instead of having to pay their employees more money, they put this here at like things like a Panda Express or like a Starbucks or something, where it's like, I don't like tipping necessarily, and this might be my controversial thing, but if it's like a little local owned coffee shop and there's like just a few people working there or whatever kind of thing, it's like, yeah, I'll like to tip, especially if I see someone making my latte or like taking the time out of it. And like I do tip a little bit, I will admit, like at like Starbucks and stuff like that if they're like making my coffee. But I feel more inclined to tip more if it's like a little local owned coffee shop. But this one's a weird one. It says leave a tip, not optional. It's rude not to. But let's hear Asmongold's opinion on this. The problem with that logic, this is on the other, the trans thing he said, is that it also means what he considers traditional roles or facts are also just a product of adults whispering in your ear. Yeah, exactly.
This is something they do at Torchy's Tacos here in Austin, and that's how you do it. I mean, for me, yeah, you custom and then go to 0. Now, obviously not optional. Apparently, it clearly is, and so.
I like how he didn't give any examples. He just is like, yep, for me, yep, custom 0. Asmongold has $1 gazillion. Asmongold, you should be tipping the people. You have $1 gazillion. But he said custom 0. Let's see where he takes this one. Let's see what he says.
Anyway, this is something that happens a lot, and I feel like custom tip equals 0. Yeah, if I don't sit down and get shit handed to me, and I'm not tipping. I have no problem tipping people now because I have a lot of money, but like
Oh,
before
okay.
that, I never tipped in general, even if I was being waited on or anything
Oh,
like that.
okay, so he does tip.
I think the fact is, like, somebody bringing me my food, like, I've said this 100 times, so I don't want to, like, get into it too much, but, like, I would much rather tip the chef and, like, the cook that made my food than the waiter that brings it to me.
Okay. You can, I like, if you could tip both, that'd be great, but I don't think this is like a one over the other conversation. Right? This shouldn't be like I don't want to tip the waiter or waitress. Like, the waitress is like responsible for taking your order, responsible for everything you're asking for at the table. Like, the person's doing the work, putting in your order, like, waiting, like, literally waiting on you. Oh my God.
It's like stolen valor almost, right? I mean, you're the one, like, you've got to...
Is exploiting the app.
Guy that's like making the food. He's sitting in there in this fucking kitchen, sweating his fucking ass off, dealing with this, and then it's apparently now it's somebody else that you've got to do it with. Fuck that. It's hot, bro. Yeah, it's hot. And like, you're giving the money just to some cute waitress. I don't give a fuck about that. Yeah.
What? That's a wild opinion to have on that. What do we think, chat? What do we think on this? I do think the tipping thing has got, like, out of control, but I don't agree with him being like, don't tip the waiter or waitress. They should be tipped. What the hell is he talking about?
I don't care. And so I just want to have good food. And so that's who I'd want to reward, right? The majority of places pay the cooks way more. Yeah, and I think that, honestly, like, you think about it, which would be easier to replace, a waiter or a, what do you call it, a cook? I think a waiter, definitely, because, I mean, again, they already kind of have replaced waiters, because if you order the food yourself online, nobody had to take your order. So they've already done it in a way.
Nobody had to take your order. Someone had to process the order so that you could get that order.
So that's the way I see it.
Tipping culture has got completely out of hand. Like, these machines are asking for too much of a tip because they're not, like the head honcho of the company isn't paying the employee enough. So in order to make up for that gain or for that loss, they're like, if we put tipping in place here, we don't have to pay our employee the wage they actually should be getting paid because, oh, it's just tip. They can live off of the extra tip money. But not all cases people are tipping. And it's got to a point now where, like, most people don't. Like, I was at, like, Chipotle recently where I saw the tip thing and I know they're making your burrito there. And I still did it out of the kindness of my heart, but it just something felt weird about it. I don't know why. It might be because I'm so primed into, like, the way I used to just order and then pay for it. And, like, it's such a weird thing because I'm like, do I want the person to be paid more? Yes, of course I do. Do I know that my tip is getting them to be paid more? Yes. But do I think them not being paid enough is my fault? No, it's not my fault. It's Chipotle's fault for not paying their employees more. If they just paid their goddamn employees more, this tipping thing wouldn't be so popular, but it just became like a thing after COVID, and now it just is blah. Crew splits the tips at the end of the day. Yeah. He's so dumb. The waiter and chef split the total tips of the shift. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's why I said both. That's why I said both should be tipped. God. I'm honestly, dude. never was.
A victim of a parent with a mental illness.
Oh, why is that playing again? It never was. Yeah, dude. I think you're like maybe like a minute behind on the stream, maybe, Chris. Yeah, dude. That's I don't know who watches Asmongold. Like Asmongold's never worked in like the privileged cockroach nest he's in. Did you guys see? Yo. Did you guys see this whole situation here with or I guess that's it. That's a wrap on the Asmongold thing. That's all I have to talk about on that front. Did you guys see this whole thing with Joe Gatto, the guy of Impractical Jokers that this Juicy B girl made these like TikToks of? I want to check in on that, see what's up with that Juicy B.
Just got here. There's a lot of people here. I left this in my parking garage and stuff. It smells like the airport salon. Having a lovely time. Just got.
Ay, ay, ay. Did you guys see that whole saga?
This shit's so damn embarrassing, like...
And this whole thing, I think I last tried to talk about this on stream, but then I just veered off of talking about it. Because then some other video, there was like another video that she had released. It was so weird. There was another video she released on her own TikTok here. It was after this one where she was like, okay, well, I kind of lied about blah, 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 blah. But, da, da, da. And like while I was watching it, the video, like, she deleted it. It literally had, like, 2 million views while I was watching it. So that's why you see people right here. Someone said, where she admits to lying about it. But then she took that video down, so I don't know. This was a weird one. This was a weird one. But I never discredit it. I don't want to discredit her because I don't know the situation. My guess is it did happen. And she might have been talking about something else. I don't know. But then I saw a bunch of articles. People were like, it was a tough one. I don't want to ever like denounce that type of situation. But yeah, if you search Joe Gatto, he canceled tour and inpatient wake of SA allegations. Inpatient facility. Intern inpatient work, and working myself. The married father. I just want to work with my friends, especially also never more so than over the last few days. So I'm guessing it happened based off of this. So, I don't know. This is still a tough one. I thought there would be more information on it. Yeah. Let's see. It should be the company's responsibility to pay their employees a real wage. Our government won't raise the minimum wage because lobbying. I know. It's fucked up. It's really fucked up. Do we talk about this? Should we watch a little bit of this? Because it's North Star Radio. I like North Star Radio. Ethan Klien threatens to sue Noah Samsen despite freedom of speech.
All right, in 2017, Ethan and Ethan Klien helped set a precedent for fair use on YouTube.
Then, in a fantastic quickie update, we have to talk about H3H3 Productions. Then, of course, Ethan and Ethan Klien, we've talked about them on the show multiple times. One of the big reasons is they were being sued. It was this really disgusting situation where they were being sued by another YouTuber for copyright infringement. That YouTuber, who we won't even mention their name, was not a fan of the videos H3H3 Productions was putting out on them.
You've been lied to. Most of what you've read and heard about the lawsuit has been full of lies and misinformation.
After being sued by a man known as Bold Guy over a video where they poked fun at his bizarre parkour-style pickup content, the Kliens won a landmark case.
Yes! We won the court case! Yes!
I never thought we'd be making this video.
It was a genuine David vs. Goliath moment. Two relatively small creators crowdsourcing legal funds from their own audience and standing up against an expensive, censorious lawsuit.
I swear to God, it felt like this would never happen. It was a year and a half we were waiting for this. And I'll tell you what, through all the grief, all the drama, man, now I'm so happy we did it. Because this is a landmark case, not just for us. But seriously, the wording that the judge put into the opinion is going to strengthen fair use across YouTube.
But as Ethan's platform grew, launching a podcast that same year and eventually reaching a level of fame and wealth far beyond what most creators ever see, his attitude shifted. Then came October 2023, when Ethan's public image took a nosedive. He began parroting pro-Israel talking points, often referred to as Hasbara, to his overwhelmingly progressive audience. Statements minimizing or excusing Israel's actions in Gaza flooded his content, all while he maintained the claim that he supported the Palestinian people.
So you have these.
Let me guess. He's gonna try to go after North Star Radio, because here's the video he went after. If you go to Noah Samsen, this is the video that he got really mad at right here. The YouTubers who it was right here. The YouTubers who backed the genocide. It set something off. Oh, we didn't get to Pearl. We were gonna talk about Pearl. We didn't get to this. We'll see how long I last through this one.
Horrible attack. And then they retreated back into Gaza. Their bases are under hospitals. They shoot from schools. They embed themselves in the civilian population. They even dress as civilians when they fight.
As his audience began to shrink and his professional relationships publicly unraveled.
It doesn't matter if Jews find it offensive, Ethan.
Doesn't matter if a minority group finds something anti-Semitic?
Yes, of course, because we're not talking about Jews at all. We're talking about Israel.
I'm gonna go find a group of black people say the Confederate flag isn't racist. I'm gonna go find.
Ethan, please stop. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
You're being ridiculous. This
no,
point is
Ethan, you're
absurd,
making a conflation that
However
makes you look
many Jews
horrible.
you
Why don't you see this?
Ethan grew increasingly hostile towards anyone who dared to criticize his framing of Israel's actions, framing many view as bad faith and morally bankrupt. And when Noah Samsen released a video labeling Ethan as one of the several YouTubers who backed a genocide, Ethan didn't respond with introspection. Instead, he morphed into the very figure he once feared. Lawyered up, thousands of dollars deep, sending Noah an embarrassingly weak cease and desist letter, in a move that screams desperation more than defamation. Today's broadcast is brought to you by viewers like you. Become a member today and unlock exclusive content at patreon.com/NorthstarRadio. Noah Samsen's video, The YouTubers That Backed a Genocide, is the entire reason Ethan decided to spend thousands of dollars to get his lawyers to write up a cease and desist letter. And the title alone was enough to send certain...
Okay, can you imagine trying to get your lawyer to write up a cease and desist letter over a YouTuber. If you're the lawyer, you're like, what the fuck? Also, Ethan just lost a case against Ryan Kavanaugh recently. So he's got to be shitting himself over that.
People into a spiral, Ethan included.
So this fucking little scumbag here who put me and Mudahar, Turkey Tom, and Destiny in a thumbnail and said the YouTubers who backed the genocide. Now, the only person he's probably not defaming here would be Destiny because of his comment about, he said, I believe in genocide. He said, I think, and during one conversation, like that the Palestinians should just leave. But this is fucking disgusting. And I'm not okay living in this world where these little fucking punk ass scumbags.
He became the monster pathological liar and anti-intellectual fool, yeah.
Can just say this shit and get away with it.
But if you actually watch the video, and I mean actually watch it, not skim the thumbnail and start crying, you'll find that it's one of the most straightforward, well-researched pieces of content on this subject currently on YouTube. Noah goes creator by creator, dissecting their content, their rhetoric, and most importantly, the role they've played in sanitizing and justifying Israel's war crimes in Gaza. When it comes to Ethan, Noah doesn't reach, doesn't speculate, and doesn't twist words. He shows you exactly what Ethan said, plays the clip in context, and then follows it up with analysis. That's it. No smear, no hit piece, no secret agenda. Just a calm, methodical breakdown of Ethan Klien's output over the past year and a half. Honestly, most of the video isn't even about Ethan. He's a small piece of a much larger critique. The title and thumbnail may be provocative, but the substance of the video is really about how the broader media ecosystem, including YouTubers, has contributed to the normalization of Israel's genocide in Gaza. Ethan just happens to be one of the more visible examples.
The latest reporting on these negotiations continued this trend of misleading coverage, such as this story from early February. The majority of the article, headline included, framed
Klien's the king of bad faith. It's really funny because he used to always be this like good faith guy on H3. He used to always be like, guys, all right, come on, we gotta have like good faith arguments here. And what's even doubly funny is that like, so in the time I've been like not making YouTube videos and just going out and socializing, I've been hanging around like a lot of different groups of people, and some of my like online friends are all like, they're like, oh yeah, like I used to, turn on Ethan Klien while I would draw my thing for work, or while I would do this or whatever, and it'd be background noise while I'd eat lunch or whatever. Like, and those people are like telling me now they've completely shut off H3. I had even a couple of my normie friends recently that were like, they literally took time out of their day to like stop and ask me. They're like, what is that one like podcast guy? Never heard of. North Star Radio is awesome. I love North Star Radio. One of my normie friends was like, who's that podcast guy that's like losing his mind? And I was like, Ethan Klien. They're like, yup. And then one of my other normie friends was like, yeah, there's like this podcast called H3 that I turn on just like, as background noise, and I just can't like watch it anymore. I think he sent cease and desist to Redditors. Yeah, exactly.
Hamas as the instigator to a potential ceasefire failure. However, both independent observers and Israeli officials themselves acknowledged that it was actually Israel who had already broken the terms of the ceasefire agreement immediately after it was implemented. If the Times weren't running cover for a genocide, the headline of this article would read, Israel violates ceasefire, confirmed by Israeli officials. Probably the most insane example of this sort of thing is the following headline, once again from the New York Times. Lebanon's ceasefire appears to hold despite Israeli strike. If Israel struck, they violated the ceasefire. The ceasefire did not hold. Israel violated it. It's just absurd.
In his video, Noah highlights how Ethan has echoed state narratives, like Hamas using human shields, hiding under hospitals, and dressing as civilians.
In the content nuke, you can find just about every type of what we just looked at in terms of manufacturing consent. Ethan spreads atrocity propaganda.
Noah further emphasizes the impact of such rhetoric.
The entire video is kind of a lie by omission, simply because of everything we just went over. How none of it is a factor, how none of the people viewing the video that are unfamiliar with what's happening would would ever come away with his video knowing the full picture, knowing some of the very valid reasons why someone like Hassan might be critical of Israeli atrocity propaganda, or might support groups like the Houthis for their heroic actions in the Red Sea against a genocidal regime. The biggest issue, I think, is that Ethan manages to do all of this while still calling himself a stalwart ally to the Palestinians.
I've been a stalwart supporter of the Palestinian cause for many years.
This is what he says. This is the thing that Ethan says in order to like back up any of his BS, any of his Hasbro. Says that he's a, he's pro-Palestinian. I'm a supporter of the Palestinian cause, and it's just like a way to like trick his audience into thinking he's, so that anything else he says from this point on can just be a valid point in their mind, because, oh yeah, he's pro-Palestinian, so anything he says underneath this is going to be true.
This is what makes liberal Zionism so insidious. He is using humanistic appeals to things like peace and safety, but doing so in a way that distracts from the actual source of the problem. The problem is Zionism and the genocidal Israeli state. That is what's causing these problems. And people that might otherwise be able to understand if presented with the facts of the situation are simply led astray by people like Ethan, where a more right-wing Zionist might put off the average liberal with extremist claims and overtly genocidal language. A liberal Zionist draws you in with the facade of empathy. He wants to appear empathetic, as if he cares for these people, as if he doesn't ascribe to a genocidal ideology. So, in order to do that, he has to lie, and roping in otherwise progressive people into a death cult.
And let's be clear, nothing in Noah's video is defamatory. He lays out a series of facts. Ethan said this, Ethan platformed that, Ethan pushes this narrative. Then he gives his opinion, which is also protected speech. When you repeat propaganda that justifies and excuses the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians, you are backing a genocide.
I've been seeing people call Ethan ethnic cleansing lately.
That's not slander. That's a morally and politically grounded conclusion. And yes, we'll get into the legal side of things, specifically how this fits the definition of a slap lawsuit and what that means for Noah later in this video. Ethan isn't mad because Noah lied. He's mad because Noah told the truth in a way that people actually listen to. The video doesn't need theatrics, doesn't rely on personal attacks, and doesn't even dwell on Ethan all that much.
All right, you know what? All right, here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to give you guys the title of this video. It's called Ethan Klien Threatens to Sue Noah Samson Despite Freedom of Speech, North Star Radio. You guys can continue watching this. It's a 40-minute video. I am sick still. My throat hurts right here. You've probably been seeing me go like this a lot. I don't know why. I feel like I just have to take NyQuil and call it a night and the pain will go away. And I'll wake up tomorrow and feel okay. But it's 11 o'clock. I should sleep. We did it's like the longest stream I've done in a while, and I'm sick. It's been a fun stream, though. There's been a lot of people hanging tonight. It's been a fun night. We got Blender, we got Chris, we got BioLogic. It's been a fun night. Chat. And Blender, guess what? If you're still here, I am making cinnamon rolls on Friday. I'll tell you how they turn out. I saw Cinnabon, cinnamon roll. I'm making those on Friday, so I'm excited. I'm excited about that. Hell yeah. So that should be fun. But if you guys want to continue to watch this video, you can. I'm going to continue to watch tomorrow morning. But let's see if I have another YouTuber. I like to recommend YouTubers. Oh, you know what I still have to do? Chat. Damn. I still have to make that Nick is Not Green video, and I completely forgot to make it. I'm going to make that Nick is Not Green video soon. Maybe I'll do it this week. I have time off. Maybe I'll do that. Okay. That'll be a fun idea. That'll be the next video then that I put out. It'll be a fun one to make. I'll try my best. Make it cool. All right. Love you guys. Thanks for hanging tonight. And appreciate you guys. I will be back. let's dummy check my schedule before I say anything. I'll be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Central, and I will be back Thursday, 9 p.m. Central. Friday I will not be on. Saturday I work. I think I work, then I go to a friend's birthday party. So not Saturday. Sunday's Easter. Monday I'll be back. Stream. I'll put it there. Stream. 9 p.m. I'll be back Monday and maybe Tuesday night and Wednesday. So thank you all for hanging tonight. Blender, Chris, By Your Logic. Love you guys as always. Thanks for coming back. I know it's been a while since I streamed, but it means a lot. So thank you very much. We'll catch you guys next stream tomorrow night. Peace.